Hello, fellow fantasy sports junkies. This is MFSN The Hub's Hockey Waiver Wire Show. I'm Dr. Dan Ratner, and I am here with Party Marty.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
And Ross the Boss.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk Hockey Waiver Wire with you. Cowboy, I got my hockey stick right here, too. I'm ready to play.
Somehow that reminds me of, I feel like there was a bad guy in some kind of movie where they were dangerous with a hockey stick. You're frightening. It's like Friday the 13th kind of things. Now, listen, we already have some comments. 810 Pro Wrestling says, we are here for Marty. Of course, a lot of people are here for Marty. And you know what they like to do? They like to get Marty to drink Irish car bombs. And I, as a therapist, try to resist. And then Ross, he helps me out by getting him to do it. But Marty, I understand you have work tomorrow, so you can't have that many Irish car bombs.
No,
so we're just going to count
two tonight.
We're going to count any drinks that you have. So you're going to start off with a drink I call a cranberry sip. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sip your cranberry.
Juice.
Oh, just a sip. Oh, wow. All right. Oh, he was going to down the
Marty.
entire
It's
thing.
a long show. I need you to be ready.
Cranberry juice.
We need you to not have to pee right away. Okay.
No. I can hold it.
Guys, here's what we're going to talk about first. First thing is NHL fantasy news. So we're going to check in about the players that are really driving a lot of teams to the top of the standings. Austin Matthews, I certainly had him on my radar very high up as somebody to draft. It didn't end up falling in my lap. He's on fire.
So Austin Matthews, it's interesting with him. It's very interesting. He's scored in the past 8 games. He has a point in every game he's played in 8 games straight. And there's only 2 other players have done that. Jäger and also a player named Jäger. And who's the other one that did it? Oh, Solani did it with the Ducks. That's right. So there's only been 2 players have done that. 8 points in 8 games. He's unbelievable. But to do another crazy stat, he only has 15 points for the year. So guess who has 27 points for the year? Conor Mcdavid. So it just shows you what kind of level of hockey Conor McDavid's playing right now. But Austin Matthews is the hottest player right now in the league. If he's available in your league, which he's not, but try to trade for him. It's a good guy for you to go out and try to get.
He's going to cost you an arm and a leg, but he's worth getting. Now, guys, who are your top players that you just are blowing it out of the water? I mean, I have good players, but I don't have anybody who's just top of the line. Marty, who's the best player on your team right now?
Right now, I'd say I have Steven Stamkos. I had Nathan McKinnon, but he got hurt right now. So Steven Stamkos is one of my good players right now who's putting the points up on the scoreboard, and I'm kind of happy with that. So I'm going with Steven Stamkos for me right now. Okay.
Before we get to more NHL fantasy news, I'm being asked by 810 Pro Wrestling to ask you, Marty, about the 24/7 championship. He does put LOL. There's some kind of funny story here. Tell us about
that's a wrestling pay-per-view. That's a wrestling title that Ron Kalings from WWE has, and I always like to have the title. I like to go and win the title and put it on my wall and retire the title, but it's always on the line 24/7. So anybody can pick it up. Any news broadcaster, anybody.
Anytime?
Yeah, anytime.
Wow. All right, well, listen, I have a question. This is directed to you, Ross the Boss, and it says for RTB. When you know him really well, you just call him by his initials. Do you still think Bob Ryan is a good pickup? Also, should I drop Matt Murray? Oh, my God, how dare you ask that with Party Marty here?
You know what? I'm going to let Party Marty. I'm going to let Party Marty answer this because he loves Bobby Ryan. He loves Matt Murray. Answer that, Marty. Go.
Well, Matt Murray's getting more tested out. He's getting more trained in the goals stated. So, yes, Matt Murray's still to keep. Bobby Ryan is okay, too, because he will wake up. He will get you the points. But right now, Detroit's not falling in the greatest scoring right now. But Bobby Ryan will be back. He did it for Ottawa. He'll do it again for Detroit. And I miss Bobby Ryan for Ottawa and my Ducks, too. But Bobby Ryan will do good this year for Detroit, but they're talking about trading him because he's like the best player on their team right now. So if he ends up going anywhere, I like them to go back to my Ducks.
Okay, Bobby Ryan is a drop in any league. Marty, this guy has 1 goal and 4 assists. He's not playing that great. Let's stop. And Matt Murray has 1 win out of like 12 starts or something crazy. So,
hey,
both those guys are waiver moves. Don't keep them, but let's keep going.
Yeah.
All right. But first of all, one of the things that's fun for me about being on a hockey show is I'm still learning the ropes, but I'm getting back. When you mentioned Teemu Selanne and Jaromir Jagr, I know those guys. I know all about that, but I'm just learning now. And when I hear Bob Ryan, I think he's an old Boston Globe reporter. So I didn't think that he would be a good player anyway. But so I guess I'm going to side with Ross just in that way. So guys,
hey, Selanne's in my painting right there. My mom did it for me. See,
your mom made a painting of Teemu Selanne. Now that's a mom for you.
And Crosby and Chris Neal.
All right,
nice.
listen.
Yeah.
While we're at a nice pause here, it's a perfect point to bring in our sponsors, Killcliff. Let's see their commercial now.
Everyone is happy with the new flavor of Killcliff CBD Strawberry Days. It's clean energy. Makes your days more pleasurable by infusing strawberries right into your drink hole. Look at Sally. Her drink hole is happy. Way to go, Sally. Get the world of tomorrow today at killcliff.com. The biggest no-brainer in the history of drinks.
Now, you might think that that's just a clever ad campaign, but the truth is the people at Killcliff don't know the word mouth, and that's why they always say drink hole.
Drink hole.
But it is good stuff.
It's good stuff. I have some here too. It's sugar-free. It's tremendous drink. I love it.
Delicious.
I have my cranberry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now listen, we're getting calls for Irish car bombs. I'm sorry, Marty. They just are. So
Okay, I'll do
Ryan
one right
Ballingall.
now. I'll do one right now. So.
All right, this is going to be our first. We're going to try to take care of him so he can get to work tomorrow.
So I'm only doing like 2 tonight. That's it.
All
So
right,
here's the
space 'em
first
out.
one. Here's the first one.
First Irish car bomb.
Here we go. Irish
it
Irish
is.
car bomb.
Okay, there we go.
my
Bristol's, Guinness.
We'll wait for the
Delicious.
other one later because I got my cranberry.
Drink of champions.
Yeah.
Drink of champions,
Listen.
Marty. Let's go.
Ryan,
Yeah.
Ryan Ballingall says, "A here." Does that mean
Yes.
something
Hey,
to you?
baby. What?
I don't know. I know I have limited awareness of certain Canadian things. I'm going to embarrass myself and talk about Tim Hortons and things like that. So
Oh, yeah.
let's talk about the Ducks coach. He had no idea that a player in Vegas was pulled from the game because he tested positive until after the game. So, and this seems to be mostly affecting the USA teams. Minnesota has been shut down like a lot.
Yeah. So Dallas Aikens, the coach of the Anaheim Ducks, found out after the game that a player for the Las Vegas Knights, the team he was playing, was pulled because he tested positive for COVID. So instead of telling him during the game, they went it afterwards. And Dan, as you mentioned, the Minnesota team found out Monday they have like 8 players that are in COVID protocol. I think 1 player tested positive. They're going to be shut down for a while. So if you have any Minnesota Wild players on your team, it could be a good week to either waive them or like put them on injury reserve if you can, because those guys are not going to play for at least a week. And, I don't know what's going on with the U.S. teams. All these U.S. teams are not playing. All the Canadian teams are all playing. They're great. All these U.S. teams, there's like 4 or 5 postponed games every night. I think Party Marty has a conspiracy against the United States, and he's causing these postponements, and he's causing us because he does not want the cup to come back to the United States. So I think it's Party Marty who's the fault here.
Hey, my Ottawa Senators might come back up, and there's a lot of hockey still. So
They're not
there's
coming
a Canadian
back
cup.
up. You're insane.
It has
You're
to
the
come
worst
with
team in
Canadian cup.
hockey, Marty.
Canadian
You
team's
gotta
going to
move
win a
on.
cup this year.
Who's
It
going to
might
win
be
the cup?
Winnipeg. Might be Winnipeg.
You think Winnipeg?
Might be Winnipeg. I just don't want Toronto, Montreal, but I want Winnipeg probably.
We'll talk about that a little later.
Calgary.
Marty, what is the Canadian secret? How come they're keeping safer than us? What's happening?
Well, I have a T-shirt. I don't have it on me right now, but we have a T-shirt that says "Stay the puck home." The PL.
Stay the puck home.
Yeah, stay the
Nice.
puck home. Don't travel like like Tom Brady had fun this weekend. I know. Congratulations on his 7th ring. He didn't really need it. He didn't really need it. But congratulations, Tom Brady. You won. But you know what?
Yep.
Miami Dolphins are going to be there soon.
Miami Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins. Well, we'll see. Maybe if they get Deshaun Watson. But listen, guys, for those of you out there who haven't already done so, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, hit like if you don't like what you're hearing. Come on, do us a favor. And put your comments below. We will respond directly to you. We love hearing from you. So let's get into the team's standings. I want to know who's doing well, who are the disappointments, who are the surprises. Let's hear it. We're going to start with you, Ross the boss.
So for teams that are doing well, my number one team right now is the Boston Bruins. They're 8-1-2. They're playing unbelievable. Pasternak, he just got back in the starting lineup. He is like almost 2 points a game right now. He's averaging. He's like on fire. Boston to me is my number one. Number two is the jersey I'm wearing. It's the Las Vegas Knights. They're in first place. They don't even have a star on their team. They just play so well together as a team. I think they lost one game the whole year. They're unbelievable. Tampa Bay defending Stanley Cup champions. They're in first place too. They're playing great. They probably have the best offense in the league. They probably the best defender too. I don't know how they're going to not lose this year, but we'll see what happens. And then Toronto and Montreal kind of end my final five when it comes to just the 5 strongest teams in NHL right now. It could change any minute. But Montreal's playing great, which is shocking to me because they've been horrible the past 10 years. And Toronto, the same thing. They haven't won the Cup since 1971 or 2, something crazy like that. But Toronto's playing great hockey too. I love, as we mentioned, Austin. We talked about Austin Matthews. We talked about Frank Tavares. They're playing unbelievable, Toronto. So those are my favorite teams. Marty, what do you think?
Well, it's true. Montreal, Toronto are doing really well right now, but I'd like to see Ducks. Well, Ducks are doing great. They're doing okay. They're
500, Marty. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
Keep going.
They're going to get better. I want Ottawa to get better, but also got back to you on your question about Vegas. They don't have stars. They stole our future captain, Mark Stone, from us, but that's for another day, for another talk, because Mark
Stone's not a star. He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's decent.
He's my player.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player, but again, Vegas doesn't have like a marquee player like McKinnon or McDavid or some of these, of these players that are playing, they really don't. And for me, I just feel they know how to play like a team. I mean, they're playing like a team and they look great. I mean, I'm going to pick them to win the Stanley Cup this year, but that's me. Yeah,
you said it in the first wave.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
We had.
They have 3 great lines. They're really a good, well-coached team. We'll see what happens.
I'm just waiting for my pesky Senators.
So let's talk about what I like to talk about are bad teams or disappointing teams that are not coming through what they thought beginning of the season. High hopes. We're going to the Stanley Cup, but really there's problems in that hometown and they're not going anywhere. My number one disappointment team, and they probably have the best 2 offensive players in the league with McDavid and Leon. I mean, they have these unbelievable 2 great, they're leading the league in points basically, but their goalie is so bad, which actually get better.
Is he?
He's really bad that Edmonton is not even a 500 team, and they probably have the best line in hockey. I mean, points wise, and they can't win games. I mean, they just lose games 5-4, 6-4. I mean, they're getting destroyed, their defense. So for me, Edmonton's number 1. Number 2 is Buffalo. They've been decimated with COVID. I understand why they're not doing that great, but Buffalo is high hopes, nothing. Nashville's another team. No goalie. It's a mess there. They were great the past few years. This year, they're not good. Vancouver, they were talking about Vancouver in the Stanley Cup in the same sentence beginning of the season. That's not happening. Vancouver is a huge disappointment this year. They're not going anywhere. And in last place, I took Marty's team, Ottawa, just because they're 2-11-1 or something like that. And it's just a shame they can't figure out how to win a game in Ottawa. But those are my 5 disappointing teams right now in the season. They can change. But Marty, what do you think?
Well, my disappointing teams right now would be my team, Ottawa, of course. But you know what? They could become pesky Senators. They could come back. And then Who else? Yeah, Buffalo. How they're having I have a few Buffalo players on my team too.
Is there anybody I missed? Anybody I missed that you think is disappointing? Like maybe the Kings, maybe San Jose.
Yeah,
maybe,
San Jose too.
Is there anybody I missed? You don't have to repeat what I say.
I think Florida is going to be great this year, probably a little bit, but I think they're going to even be better next year for Florida because they're getting those two young goalies they got at the Olympics, the Canadian goalie and the USA goalie. People forget it's the same. The two goalies they picked up, they're going to have great goaltending. Florida Panthers. You watch and see them in a few years. They're going to be great.
I'm gonna bring up a couple of nominations for most disappointing team, and keep in mind I know a lot less than you do, but I think that the Colorado Avalanche, no matter how good they would be doing, they're disappointing to me because they were the Quebec Nordiques, and they shouldn't have stolen a team from Quebec, and I'm disappointed in them. Colorado Avalanche, you get in this house right now, okay? Now another team that's disappointing is the Detroit Red Wings. They were one of the great.
Tell you that.
No. Well, listen, no, they're disappointing in their performance, but I'm saying Detroit Red Wings, they used to have Steve Yzerman, Sergei Fedorov. They were like the best team. And then
Chris Osgood, you're right. But the beginning of the season, they were not predicted to do well.
No, I know they're terrible, but
they're terrible. And it's sad that Detroit, I mean, that's like the city of losers. They have the Pistons, they have the Red Wings, they have the Tigers, they have the Lions. It's probably the worst sports city in the country. I don't think you can argue with me. Can you? No. I mean, no. The Red Wings you're 100% right. It's really pathetic. They were a dynasty for many years. I used to love watching them play, and now it's a complete joke. They can't even, they can't even be competitive anymore.
Right. So listen to me. Even though they're the worst team in the league, they're still disappointing because it's like, what is happening? I went into like some kind of coma for like 10 years because I had kids, and I woke up and the Red Wings are terrible, and they're just the worst. The
worst team.
It would be like seeing the Patriots be bad for like 15 years.
That's
might happen.
Let's hope so. That'd be great. That'd be the best.
Awesome. All right. Let's move on to fantasy hockey waiver wire. That's part of what we're here for. But before we do, let's remind everybody, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, put your comments below. We'll answer you directly. And it is time now, Marty, for you to take another cranberry sip. I know you've got to go to work tomorrow, so
I'll save the other Irish car bomb later on. So we'll do the other Irish car bomb.
We can't do our usual thing where we count up your Irish car bombs.
No, he has to work tomorrow. We'll do it the next show. We'll make sure he's not working the next day.
Next show, we'll make sure Marty's not working.
And we'll send him a case of beer too. We'll take care of it.
Okay,
we're trying to figure out how we kind of translate it into Canadian dollars. So we'll work on that. So guys, I'm going to start with goalies, and I want to hear one goalie from each of you that you think needs to be picked up. Now let's remember the rules here: 60% or less. Now, of course, you can say other things, but you will be disqualified. So 60% or less, and we're talking Yahoo leagues. There's plenty of leagues, other places. So Marty, who is your best goalie pickup less than 60% owned? You can't say Matt Murray because he's over 60%.
I won't say Matt Murray, don't worry. Does 51 count at least a little bit?
51's good. You're good at 51.
I'm going with something here.
Oh.
Okay, so you can pick up Jake Allen from Montreal Canadiens. If Price ever gets hurt or whatever, Jake Allen could be there to spot in the net for, he's a great backup goalie. He was great on St. Louis, so I think you pick up Jake Allen and he'll help you. He'll help you win some games too, get some shutouts too. So Jake Allen's one of my picks to pick up for Montreal Canadiens. I know I don't really like the team, but that's okay.
I can't believe you said I had the abs, but yeah, it's great.
Listen, I like to hear you say shutout. It wasn't you Canadians don't just say go out. They shut out.
Shut out.
I love it.
Shutout for 5 points. You get a shutout for 5 points for the goalie if they get a shutout, but we should put in the league that if our goalie scores a goal, we get 10 points. We should do that one day.
There should be something like that. Well, I got one of those game-winning goals from who was it? The guy in Calgary. I don't know. I love the Flames because I was a hockey fan in 1988. Okay, nice. Ross, goalies on your end.
The goalie I'm picking he's like 3%. I mean, he started one game the whole year. He just started a game. he played a lot last year. This year he's been sitting a lot, but he's ready to play. And I think Edmonton's going to start playing this guy a lot because their other goalie is horrible. Is Mike Smith. Mike Smith is somebody that has been sitting in the wings for the first 12 games. He hasn't played at all. He's been sitting there like a statue, but he's coming in. He's fresh. He played last game. He gave up 1 goal. He got the win. I think they're going to go with Mike Smith. If he's available in your league, I suggest you pick him up. Edmonton has unbelievable offense. They'll be great if they have a guy who can play goalie, and Mike Smith's the answer.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So I drafted Samsonov of Washington, and he's been on the COVID list for a long time now. His backup, Victor Vanasek,
who's a 19-year-old Russian kid who's unbelievable.
I mean, do I have to worry about Samsonov not getting his job back?
Well, I follow the Capitals. I like the Capitals, and I feel that he had a great run. He had like 5 games in a row he won, and now he's gave up a lot of goals the past couple games. So I think Samsonov could get his job back. What they do in hockey, Dan, is they go with the hot goalie. If the goalie's playing great, they'll push that guy until he starts playing poorly. So that being said, I think Samsonov's going to get his job back. I believe he will, yes, but I don't know when.
Well, I appreciate hearing that because Victor Vanasek was a Vitek. I have the wrong name. He was one of my top goalie pickups, but partly because I own Samsonov.
It's a good pickup. I'm not going to argue with you there.
But I'm going to tell you one other thing. You said the name Mike Smith, and I was thinking, now that's an exotic name, Mike Smith.
It's an easy name to pronounce. But
yes. If you would like an exotic name, you could pick up Elvis Merzlikins.
I like
Elvis. That's a name.
Columbus.
That's a name. So those are my goalie pickup. I also have Thatcher Demko of Vancouver. I know Vancouver's been disappointing, but he's a decent pickup. So these are my goalie pickups.
Okay, that's good. Perfect.
Let's go to forwards. I'm going to let Marty start this time. Marty, give us one forward. If you had to pick one, 60% or less, and I don't know why you said something about 51%. Are you going to go with 51% again? Is that
No. Thomas Hertl from the Sharks. He can get you points. He can get you assists. He can get you goal. He can get you helping get goal wins from the Sharks. I know the Sharks are not doing the greatest right now. They're sucking too, but I think Thomas Hertl, you should pick him up because he plays. I think he plays center and left wing. If I'm right, I forget. If I'm not too sure. He plays 2 spots. So Thomas Hertl is a great pickup for you if you like the Sharks.
Okay, I want to pause for a sec because I'm gonna look him up in a second. But I do want to remind everybody out there, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below. Now, what was his name again? I gotta look this guy up.
Thomas Hertl.
Thomas Hertl. He's good. I think he's from
San Jose.
Earth.
No, but I think he's from Finland or Sweden or something. But yeah,
that's on Earth.
He can play.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I'll look him up in a second, but I'm gonna throw out a name.
Great.
Conor Garland.
Conor, I love. He's on my list. He's a young stud. He's 5 goals, 8 assists. He has 47 shots on goal already. He's only played 12 games. It's unbelievable. That's a great pick, Dr. Dan. I love it.
Yeah, listen, I actually wrote down his stats because they were so impressive.
That's hilarious.
47 shots on goal.
I memorized it. That's unbelievable.
Do you know how many more shots on goal he has than me? 47. I have none. None.
If you can't shoot, you can't score. That's Wayne Gretzky.
That's right. And if you can't skate, you can't play hockey. That's what I think. Now, Ross, let's hear one of yours. We've heard one from Marty. We've heard one from me. It is time for Ross the Boss.
So I'm picking Alex Kilbourne. He plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's on the first line. That first line, as I told you guys, it's unbelievable. He averages 21 minutes on ice a game as a forward. That's a lot of time. So he's available in like over 70% of leagues. He's available. So Alex Kilbourne for me is a good pickup this week. I feel he's the number one guy when it comes to like power plays. He's on the number one line. He'll get a lot of opportunities. So for me, I like to pick up Alex just because where he's at right now in the lineup.
I want to write this down, but I'm going to tell you one of my number one waiver wire pickups is going to be a pen because I don't have one on me right now. So you're going to have to remind me of these names later. Okay, I'm going to throw out another name. Now, I mentioned him the last time we met, and
put him up.
It's Anthony Cirelli.
Yep.
We talked about this before the show. I know, Ross, you did pick him up.
Another Tampa Bay guy. You got to love those Tampa Bay guys. I love it.
So compare the two, Ross. Tell me about Cirelli versus the other guy.
Cirelli's on a second line. He's a great player. He gets a lot of opportunity. He doesn't play as much as Kilbourne. Kilbourne plays 21 minutes for a forward. It's a lot of time. Not many players play over 20 minutes per game as a forward. Defenseman, yes. Forward, no. But Andy Cirelli, he's been on a tear lately. In the past 2 weeks, he's had 3 goals and 3 assists, which is pretty good. He's averaging 1 point a game right now in the past 2 weeks, which is he's playing great. So it's a great pickup on you, and that's a great one. I got to commend you on that. It's another great one. I'm impressed.
I'm bringing it. And you know what? I'm learning from you guys. This is what happens when you watch MFSN or when you're on, the team of MFSN, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. I just become better and better. I'm actually a good player already. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this so fast, but I'm very pleased so far. I've had some bad luck, so I'm 1-2.
We've all had the COVID's been destroying a lot of people in games. I feel bad for a lot of teams.
My point total in the league is like 4th or 5th, and I'm in 7th place at the moment. So that's going to even out.
You'll be good. Don't worry.
All right, Marty, give us another center, forward, wing, you name it.
I'm going to go with the defense. I'm surprised he's not real. I don't think he's picked up in our league. Seth Jones from the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's a great defense.
We're not at defense yet, but we'll give you this one. But we go, Dan, we go in a little order here. We do forwards and we do defense after the forwards. But
I got another one then from the Blues. Jordan Schwartz from the Blues. He's a great hockey player. He gets points. He's a pass guy. Like he passes.
May the Schwartz be with you. Yes, I love Schwartz. He's a great player. I had him on my list too. May the Schwartz be with you. I'm sure Dan has no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I did. I had him on my list, and in fact, I wondered if he was Jewish, because I'm Jewish, and that would make me proud. Now listen,
you do have a lot of blue players on your team too, so
I do. I have tons of Blues players, and when they were playing the Wild, it was driving me wild. Now listen, David Bertrand is calling for you to chug. Oh, he says Marty chugs more than ICBs. What does he mean, Marty? What else do you chug?
Rum and Cokes.
Rum and Coke, okay. And cranberry?
I don't got no rum and Cokes on me, DB.
Well, listen, we're going to keep you fresh for work and for your wrestling podcast tomorrow. So go ahead and drink another cranberry dip. I'm just going to
Cranberry dip.
Go ahead, and I'll have some Killcliff. Here's to you, Ross the Boss.
Ross Boss, where's your drink?
There we go. He's
Killcliff. I like drinking out of a glass, not the can, but here I got Killcliff right here.
He's classy. Ross the Boss is classy. Okay, let's name a couple of others. I have Zach Hyman on my list. Toronto.
I know he is. Good player, good pick. I didn't have him on my list, but that's a great pickup right now.
Yeah.
All right. I feel so vindicated when I say this. You have
I'll let you know when you say something bad. I'll let you know when you say some player that just doesn't make my list. I'll let you know. But Hyman's great. Toronto is on a great team. I love that pickup.
All right, I have a question for you. This guy, he's not getting the minutes, but he's putting up tons of points. Is Jordan Cairo? What do you guys think of this guy?
Jordan Cairo. Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
I have no idea what he plays for either. I have no idea. What team is he on?
He's on the Blues. So now listen, he's actually someone that I discovered. I was reading an article and somebody said, you got to pick up Jordan Cairo right now. And I was like, who is this guy? And I looked and I was like, but he's not even getting the minutes, but he was just putting up a ton of points. And he has. He's broken. He's over 70. I'm not 70 hockey points, 70 fantasy hockey points. We have a comment from Patrick Donovan. Pat Donovan, who has come on the show before. I do want to remind you guys, anybody who wants to come on the show, you can go to www.callmfsn.com and you can come and join us by video or by audio. And if you're too shy to do that and you just want to do it under the radar, then you can just click subscribe and you hit like and you ring the bell and you put your comments in. And if you're too shy to put in comments, then you just click subscribe and hit like and ring the bell. And then you can be totally anonymous. So the question from Pat Donovan is this the Three Stooges? He says he loves it.
I am going to jump out the screen and choke Pat Donovan right now if he doesn't apologize immediately with that comment. How dare he call me a Three Stooge? That's unbelievable.
Listen, I think
we could be called the Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, we'll do this, but first I have to say, Ross, your response I think makes you Mo. If we're going to be the Stooges, Mo was the one who was so grumpy and upset all the time.
Oh, he was. You're 100%
and,
right.
I think Marty is clearly Curly. So I guess I'm Larry.
You're Larry. Okay. So let's talk about fantasy. Let's talk about fantasy hockey pickups. I got a few more I want to talk about real quick. This guy I want to talk about plays for the Kings. He's been around a long time. He won two Stanley Cups. Dustin Brown right now is playing unbelievable hockey. He had 2 goals last night, actually. He had 2 goals. He looked unbelievable. He's had 8 points. He's had 8 points in the past 7 games. He's been tearing it up. I mean, everybody says he's like old and done. He's not old and done. He's like Tom Brady. He's rejuvenated. You got to pick up Dustin Brown right now. Dustin Brown and Kopitar are the 2 Kings that are actually scoring points that you got to think about picking up right now on your team if you want to win your league. And another guy that's playing great, that's been in the league for a while, he plays for Carolina, is Jordan Stahl. Jordan Stahl has 9 points in the past 7 games. He's on fire. He's somebody else. If you have a center that's not having any production right now, Jordan Stahl, you should pick up and drop that center because the league, there's only 58 games this year. You gotta think short term, not long term right now. So Jordan Stahl's another great pickup. Another guy that I like, he plays for Arizona, is Christian Drovec.
I had him.
You had him too. 13 points in the past 12 games. I'm worried about Arizona and COVID. They've been canceling a lot of Arizona games, so don't let that bother you. Pick him up anyway. He's available in a lot of leagues, and he's a young kid. He's a big kid, too. This kid's big and strong, bigger than me, and bigger than Patrick Donovan, who just made that Three Stooges comment. I'll get you, Patrick Donovan. Don't worry about it. I'm coming after you, Donovan. But this kid, Christian, is somebody that's young and stud, and him and Connor Garland together, they play so well together. Arizona could make the playoffs if they keep playing as well as they're playing right now. So those players I like a lot. Marty, who else do you have on your list as forwards? Anybody else that we're missing?
I have Kevin Hayes from the Philadelphia Flyers. I think he's a good player to pick up. He's a center, and he's a great player. And also his partner, also Travis, I don't know how to say his last name really, Konechny, on Philadelphia. But apparently there's trades that is going to trade him. And that's why he's sitting right now. But, and Patrick Laney, he's a really good player, but he got benched from Tortorella. But, he'll wake up in Columbus and he'll get the points. He will put the points on the board, guaranteed, because he's a great hockey player. He was a great player that came from the Winnipeg Jets.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. This is a general strategy question because I'm trying to learn the game here. If a guy is just red hot, but he doesn't have the history, do people tend to carry these hot streaks through seasons? I mean, is that just how it goes in hockey? Should I buy into hot streaks?
I think with goalies, yes. Goalies, if they can get a hot streak for a few weeks, especially in the playoffs, but playoffs don't really matter in fantasy. But in playoffs, for how goalies, that means the whole world. It can win you a Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah.
But during the season, if you can pick up goalie up and he has like a 3-week tear, I mean, that's worth it. I mean, that's worth it during the season. Pick a goalie up. A player, you got to kind of want, I look at 2 weeks. Some people look at 1. I look at 2. And saying that, I mean, you want to get players that are, you want to pick up players that are scoring. I agree with that philosophy. Like the guy you mentioned, Hayes for the Flyers, he started the season off great. He hasn't scored in like 2 weeks. I mean, he's been very silent the past couple of weeks, but I still think he's a good player, but he hasn't woken up. So I would probably waive him right now and pick up either Garland or even Jordan Stahl, who's playing really well. We're saying this stuff so you guys know who to pick up. We're making our life so much easier. That's the reason you guys are watching us. Please listen to us and tell us that you're picking these players up. Say it in the comments. It's really important because all this studying I do and all this work I put into this, I'll make sure it goes to good use.
That's right. And listen, this is true in most fantasy sports. You get a guy like in baseball who's just seeing the ball well. The goalies seem to go into some kind of mystical portal, the Dominic Hasek portal. See, all of my references are from like 20 years ago. But
the Dominator.
The Dominator. I mean, I loved watching that guy. I can't believe they didn't win that game 7. God, that pissed me off. Okay, let's move to defensemen. I know Marty got us started early, so I'm going to go to Ross the Boss first. Give me a defenseman who would be your number one pickup, below 60% owned defenseman.
So my number one pickup this week that's under 60%. And again, I think there were a lot more forwards this week than there were defensemen for me. There wasn't anybody that was jumping up and down, but the guy I love the most is Victor Dunn in St. Louis. It's a Blue. You love the Blues. He's getting 19 minutes a game. He's averaging that right now. That's a lot of time. The past 2 weeks, he's had 2 goals and assists. He's been a lot of shots on goal. He's been improving a lot. He's playing in that power play also. So Victor Dunn is somebody that you got to make sure, if you don't have a defenseman that's producing for you, Victor Dunn's the guy you should pick up, and he's available like 90% of the leagues. So he's probably available in your league. But Victor Dunn right now is the hottest pickup right now, defenseman-wise, I believe.
All right, Marty, you said a couple before, but I want to hear another name. Throw out another name, and then I'm going to throw out one of mine.
I would say Duncan Keith, probably from Chicago.
That was my name.
I know sometimes Duncan Keith could get points and help the team win for Chicago. So, yeah, Duncan Keith. Sorry, Dan, I stole your player.
No, Duncan Keith, let me just say about something. 26 minutes a game this guy's playing. 26 minutes a game this guy's on ice for. 24 shots on goal in the past 2 weeks, which is unbelievable for defensemen. I mean, I agree with you. I like Duncan Keith. I met him. I held the Stanley Cup with him. He's a great guy. I mean, he's an oldie, which I love. He's a goodie and an oldie, but that's a great one, Marty. I like Duncan Keith a lot.
And I had him number one on my list. So here's my question.
That's great.
Should I pick him up right now? Should I cut? Let's see. Who would I cut? Oliver Bjorkstrand I could cut. I could cut Brian Rust. Or I could cut one of my goalies that I just picked up.
Yeah, you got so many goalies.
I don't know your team that well, Dr. Dan, but if you need a defenseman, Duncan Keith is somebody that's playing a lot of 26 minutes a game. That's unbelievable.
Oh, should I cut Giordano for him? He's underperforming.
I would cut Giordano. That's a great. I didn't know you had him on your team. I would cut that guy. Would never be in my team. Cut him right now.
Okay, Duncan
Sounds
Keith
good.
for Giordano. We're making a move right on the show. This is a first.
There we go.
Love it. It just happened.
Now talking about Duncan Keith, I want to bring up another older statesman defenseman. This guy's like on skates. He's 7 feet tall. I mean, this guy is bigger than Marty. This guy is 7 feet tall with skates on. He plays right now for the Washington Capitals. He used to play for Boston for years. It's Chara. Chara is playing unbelievable. In the past 2 weeks, he's had 2 goals, 1 assist. This guy's a monster. I love watching him play. If you have him on your team, it's so much fun because none of the players want to hit him. I mean, the guy is just huge. He's the biggest guy in the league for sure. Yeah. I mean, he's rejuvenated. He loves playing in Washington. It's his first year playing there, Dr. Dan, and he's won Stanley. He won a Stanley Cup with the Bruins before. And he has to be in his 40s. I mean, this guy is like the Tom Brady. This guy's the Tom Brady of hockey. So if you want to pick up a defenseman that's going to get a lot of hits, a lot of hits, a lot of blocks, this guy's a monster. He loves to rough it up, and it's fun to watch him play. Chara on the Washington Capitals is a great pickup right now.
Now, okay, we have a comment from Ryan Ballingal.
Oh, I like this guy. What do you say?
Well, he says, Ryan? Marty, why do you, I don't know if you'll like him after this, Ross. We'll see. He says, Marty, why do you have a doppelganger to your right? Your mom has twins.
You son of a, who's this guy?
Pickle.
So far, Ross the Boss has basically been called Mo and Marty's doppelganger on this show. It's
going to get worse. Here we go.
No, Ross the Boss, I'll defend you. But here, I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm looking at my list and I feel great. And you know why?
Why?
Because finally, I'm saying names that just totally fit with you guys. I understand what I'm doing. These names
That's
were all...
the purpose of the show. It's working. Do you see how this works? It's working. And you got the fancy expert up in Canada that's probably the smartest Canadian hockey expert in the whole country of Canada, and Marty. And you got me, who's pretty good. I'm not as good as some of the experts in the United States, but I'm up there. And you're learning. You're actually learning from the best. Congratulations, Dr. Dan. You did it.
It's amazing. And, you know, this is why we have Marty drink Irish car bombs.
He's so good.
He's too smart. We have to
deserves an Irish car bomb for our teaching. So,
I mean,
so do you have one more? I think it's time.
one more.
It's time for the second Irish car bomb. Okay.
One more.
I can endorse that.
One more.
All right. Let's all drink to that. Here we go. Yep.
There we go.
Okay, Marty, no more. I don't want to find out that you drank a third. Only.
I'm going to call your boss, Marty. If we find you drinking at least any more after the show, Dr. Dan's going to call your boss and make sure he does a breathalyzer test when you show up to work tomorrow.
Yes,
I just got my cranberry.
There, you can only drink some Tim Hortons cranberry Dave McKenzie juice. I'm just saying a bunch of Canadian things. Guys, okay, I'm going to say one more defenseman before we move on.
Great.
So I picked up Duncan Keith and Connor Murphy, another guy on the Blackhawks, and I hope they don't change their name. I got to say that. You know, I understand the whole piece thing, but the Blackhawks are great.
I hope they keep the name too. I like the Blackhawks. I don't think it's like against. I feel it's an Indian tribe, Blackhawks. It's been around since the 1600s.
It's not, I mean, there was no Indian tribe, the Redskins, so that's a different story.
Yeah,
but listen, I can't argue that. But
I don't talk politics anyway.
Connor Murphy is he seems like he's a pretty good player. But I also had Justin Schultz, also on Washington.
Yep.
Schultz.
Oh, that was my guy.
I like Justin Schultz. That's a good pickup.
Last guy to mention, Devin Toes.
So Devin Towns.
Oh yeah. I'll go.
So Devin's been hurt. But Devin's been hurt the past 2 weeks. He plays for Colorado. His brother plays for the Blackhawks. He's won a few Stanley Cups over there. But Devin is a great defenseman, but I don't know how long he's out for. I think he's out for at least a couple more weeks. So
then
you want to pick him up. If you want to pick him up and stash him, that's a great idea. But he's not going to do anything for your team for at least 2 weeks.
Only if you have an injured spot. I agree with that. So
good pickup.
Any players we haven't mentioned so far that you guys think are just keys to mention?
There's one more, James Brolin. James Brolin's the actor. James Brolin, he plays for the Minnesota Wild. He's on the COVID list. I know you're saying, Ross, why do you want to be on a COVID list? This guy is a young stud. You want him on your team, pick him up, stash him if you can on your team. He's been playing over 23 minutes a game. He's a scorer. He's a bruiser. He's a big kid. He's the future up there in Minnesota when it comes to defense. He's a good stash, but I'm worried about one thing. It's called COVID, and COVID's going to slow him down right now. But if you can get away with it right now, do it.
So, I think these are great points. These are great pickups. And I just want to mention one more piece of news. This comes from like my hockey past.
Great.
Ron Hexdall, the former goalie of the Philadelphia Flyers, is the new GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And
you got to be kidding me.
Yes,
that guy's a traitor. That guy is a traitor. It's unbelievable that he left the Philadelphia Flyers. He's played for them almost his whole career, except a couple he played 1 year, I think the Islanders, 1 year for Quebec, but he played about 11 years in Philadelphia. They gave him a job as a coach. He coached in Philadelphia. Now he's the GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins, their arch nemesis. You can't be serious. The fans in Philadelphia must be going crazy. This guy's a traitor. It's like Benedict Arnold. This guy should be kicked out of the league. That's unbelievable. I can't believe Hexdall. Hexdall is just motivated by money. It makes me sick.
The fans might jump the boards.
And I have to say, I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming that Philadelphia fans would ever turn on anybody. I've never seen it happen before. I'm totally kidding.
And remember, Hextall was the first goalie ever. I'm not making this up. To score a goal in a game. And
I thought you meant he was the first goalie ever
No, he's the first goalie to score a goal in a game, and he was the first goalie ever to score a goal in a game in the playoffs. Yes, playoffs. Yes. So Hexdall in Philadelphia Flyer history, he has a huge trophy and everything else. This guy, and he goes to it's like playing for the Yankees, and then all of a sudden you're playing for the Red Sox. It's like the same thing. It's unbelievable. I can't believe he went to Pittsburgh to be their GM.
It's like something Roger Clemens would do.
Yeah, there you go. What's like Roger Clemens would do exactly, or A-Rod or something. It's crazy.
Big trader.
But listen, I thought you were saying that Ron Hextall was the first goalie. Like it was like there was.
No, he scored. He was a goalie that scored the first goal.
No, I hear you. Yeah. But I just, I like to share my insane mishearings. I thought you were saying that there was Adam and Eve, and then next was Ron Hextall.
There were other goalies I can mention that you have no idea what I'm talking about. But yes,
all right,
he's not even close. There were goalies that played goalie without masks back in the 40s and 30s. I mean, it was crazy.
This was so much fun. I can't wait to do this again. But guys, let me remind you, the fans out there, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below. Your comments, your questions, your Three Stooge comments. It's totally fine. We'll take any of them. We're very excited. And we're
the Musketeers.
Okay, the Musketeers. That's right. I am Porthos, I think. D'Artagnan. I'm D'Artagnan.
I'm Porthos.
I don't know the name.
Well, that makes you.
You're Kramer.
Athos.
You're Kramer.
Kramer. All right, guys. This was awesome. We will be back again very soon, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
Party number 1.
We're gonna set the internet on